I made this video to help landlords become stronger leaders. Not every day that we have circumstances like the ones we're living through today. These are very tough times. The goal of this entire video is to empower you to become a stronger leader. No one wants to repeat what happened in 2008. We're not time traveling, and we definitely don't want to see that movie happen again. So with this video, I'm going to share plenty of knowledge, and I'm also going to throw in free letters, guides, templates, anything that could be of help to you to have you be a better leader and guide your tenants through these tough times. So now, let's take a look back to see how we got to where we are. The COVID pandemic and its implications began to take shape very quickly, almost within 2 weeks of it making its major debut here in the US. Now let's go back and let me share with you some of the things that I've learned so that we can get some history as to where and how this thing came along. So the virus began taking hold of a city in China called Wuhan City. By the end of the month, the World Health Organization had declared a global health emergency. And the following day, the US restricts travel from China. By the following week, there are reports of similar cases of deaths, including the death of the doctor who tried to raise the alarm back in China. By February 11th, the World Health Organization gives the virus a name. Hello, COVID-19. So on February 29th, we learned of the first confirmed COVID-19 death. I think it happened in Seattle. Within a few days, we have widespread testing going into place, and by mid-March, there are travel restrictions from Europe, a bunch of other countries, basically national emergencies. So what does that mean? That means there's funds for state programs. We're talking unemployment, hospitals, first responders, even the public service announcement commercials you've been watching. All of those things are extra funds that were put into place. By the end of the month, all of these plans are in full effect. I even made a video about it. One of them was the CARES Act, and that video, you can see there's a link up here somewhere, and click on it and watch the full video just in case you didn't take advantage of the program back then. And you start to think, where does all of this leave the everyday landlord? The small to mid-size housing provider who works tirelessly in unglorified effort to basically provide good and adequate housing. Let's face it, aside from food and water, shelter is an absolute requirement for survival. So with that said, my salute to those landlords who do it right, value and appreciate their tenants. So being a landlord is a hard job, and it requires you to wear many hats. Now let's also remember that you don't go to school for it. There is no specialized training, and you don't have to be licensed. So it can get really, really difficult. Not to mention that some of us become landlords by accident. So my only request is that if you're a tenant and you aspire to be a landlord, well, first of all, cut your landlord a break. They may not know this, but you're watching this, so take notes and learn from all the other sources. Connect with people in your community and learn how you can then become a better landlord in the future. So now let's talk about New York City. New York City is unique. I practice here, and this city has like its own heartbeat. Basically, to live and thrive here, you need to be a leader, and a leader in many different facets of life. And in my opinion, the key to good home ownership, being a great landlord, is being a leader. So what is a leader? A leader is someone who is very good at communication. They're empathetic. They have integrity. They are also creative. These are so many things that make up a leader, and there's much, much more qualities. But I'm gonna focus on the most important one for today. Now, I can't wave a wand or transform you to some great leader. That's not gonna happen with this video. But I can give you some of the basic tools you're gonna need and give you some free stuff that's gonna help. So now let's talk about April, which came in with heavy showers and basically drenched a lot of people. And what I mean is that it drenched the homeowners who ventured into their homeownership business without a plan or an umbrella. And now we're in May, and we can't have it go the same way. The one quality about leadership is communication. That's your answer. And communication is not just on what you put out, but also what you take in. My parents used to always tell me this one thing, which is you have one mouth and two ears. So if God gave it to you that way, then use it in that same proportion. Well, first, listen to what's going on. Listen to the news, listen to the announcements that are given out by different officials. Listen to your sphere of professionals, which are your realtors, your lawyers, your contractors, your accountant. Get information from them and then break it down to bite-sized chunks and start communicating this to your tenants. The goal here is not to leave your tenants in the dark. It's to engage them, to educate them, and to empower them to seek the proper assistance. I mean, let's put it this way. Utility companies, gas and electric, they have special payment plans available just because of COVID-19. And large companies like Facebook, they have a $100 million grant program running right now. It's essential to communicate the literature that's being distributed by the SBA, the CDC, Department of Health, Buildings Department. There are all sorts of information that's out there. The difficult part is compiling it all. But once you start getting it out, your tenants have guides. And I would say try to get it to them as soon as possible. The Postal Service is currently seeing delays, so I would urge that if you're going to do this in person, then use the utmost safety and try to leave it in a place where they can see it or collect it themselves. My tip is to tape it to the door instead of handing it in person. And at the very least, take the COVID-19 Department of Health flyer and post it right at the entry of each building. This is also available in many different languages. If you have any trouble finding it, then reach out to me and I'll make sure to send you a copy. Alternatively, and my favorite method is sending an email. And if you don't have your tenant's email address, just give them a call. But basically send them an email and you can copy and paste the same message into each email, throw in the same attachment. The only thing I suggest, finally, is to make sure that the email subject remains the same. This way you can keep track. Give a call. Doesn't have to be immediately after, but give them a call and let them know that you sent them something that's important and just check in with them. See how they're coping during these times. Don't wait till the first of the month because everyone's going through major shifts in all parts of their life. So lastly, because I'm a big fan of the Postal Service, I would definitely go ahead and send it in the mail. It is way worth the stamp. A lot of emails land in spam, and sometimes people just don't get around to reading. Now I know what you're thinking. How am I gonna find this information? How do I know what to write? What do I send? When do I send it? So on and so forth. It's the same challenges that I went through as well. I went through it with firsthand experience and many of my clients reaching out and asking the same thing. So I've made it easy for you. You've got a link here on the screen. You've also got a link down in the description. Go ahead and drop your info in there. I'll just simply send you what I'm using and any other things that may be updated, you'll get that too. So you basically could take this, copy, paste it, and customize it to whatever your needs are. So go ahead and use what I've sent you. I'm sure it's gonna be very helpful. It's been helpful for many people. I do have to advise you though, I am a New York State real estate associate broker, and therefore I can't advise you about real estate. However, if it's anything related to tax or legal advice, I would highly encourage you to seek a professional in that field. And you can also feel free to reach out to me if you'd like a few recommendations. I hope this information proves to be very helpful for you, your tenants, and ultimately our neighborhoods. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to visit my channel. You'll find my contact information and you can reach out. So as always, feel free to subscribe for more adventures, information, and opportunities. In the meantime, I'll be seeing you, at least virtually, back in the neighborhood.